Every once in a while, people do stupid things that cost them big time. You cheat on your exam with the Apple Vision Pro? Stupid. You do a TikTok dance that makes the whole human race cringe down to their very last neurons? Stupid. You quote-unquote allegedly message and meet a 13-year-old as a part of the biggest YouTube channel ever and step away as if that's gonna make the grooming allegations disappear and you can live your life as peaceful again? Stupid. But when you do things that basically mess with the progress of studying the things and the culture of the past, it's not good. Like these things. The biggest Japanese hoax. This is Shinichi Fujimura. He was an amateur archaeologist, meaning he digs up the past for the glitz and the glam, not really for the passion. He became famous because of his awesome discoveries, like in 1981. He found stone tools that date back to around 40,000 years ago. To no surprise, this gave him massive glitz, massive glams, and national fame. People called him the Divine Hands because of how much success he gets from finding things of the past. But for Shinichi, once you're on track, you can never go back. He joined about 180 excavation projects all across Japan, finding the oldest artifacts they could dig. Some were as old as from 600,000 years ago, the Paleolithic period of mankind. So for all we knew, Dick Van Dyke or Clint Eastwood could have shared a drink in one of these things. As far as Japan was concerned, Shinichi's discoveries were much more than important. What he found basically told Japan that people lived in that place much more earlier than what was believed. And so Japan fell into Shinichi Fujimura's hands, from updating the textbooks where children learn to museums displaying his findings. The country was on his side, and he must be on top of the world after these. Although not for long. Some smart people got suspicious of this guy after getting almost the most important things in the history of Japan that most archaeologists dream of finding. A knack for digging up these things is not enough. There must be something going on in here, said the smart people. Maybe due to the fact that he found things in perfect conditions despite being underground for hundreds of thousands of years. But it's Japan. They didn't expose him as what they were suspecting. But Y2K came. Not the end of the world, but the end of Shinichi's fame. He discovered something at the Kamitakamori site in Miyagi Prefecture. Oh my Shintoism! I found something! This must be about 600,000 years old. Wow, that's nice. He found another thing, but okay. Fun's over, time to rightfully ruin the reputation he maintained so much. A Japanese newspaper, this one, the Mainichi Shimbun, had been looking to how credible this man actually was with his findings. The journalist from that paper planted hidden cameras around Kamitakamori, and you're never gonna believe it. How convenient was that? He went out early in the morning to bury the artifacts that he actually made from his backyard before the digging started. These photos were revealed to the public on the 5th of November, 2000, to show to each and every one that Shinichi Fujimura fooled Japan, its citizens, heck, even the entire world. When journalists showed him the evidences, all he was able to do was put his head down while wearing a yellow poncho and stand up to bow down to everyone. He started to tell his sob story after confessing that 27 out of the 31 things found at the site were nothing but fakes. Faker than deep fake propagandas in the US now that election is coming up near. Wait, hold on, he's not yet finished. I'm sorry, Desu. I only did that because of the voice in my head urging me to do stuff like that, Desu. I was tempted by the devil, so it's his fault. The discoveries at Kamitakamori were fake, but the other ones I found were not. Believe me, they're legit. After the evidences and his confession, he really expected us to believe that all the other ones he found were real. I like the jokes of this funny guy. After that, Shinichi was removed from the Japanese Archaeological Association and from his position at the Tohoku Paleolithic Institute. Tough luck for him, because he was actually the deputy director of that institution. Since he's a fraud, every single one of his discoveries were rechecked, only to find out that yes, they were planted there too. Well then, time to rewrite the books again, literally. He was lucky he wasn't sued for defrauding the Japanese people, like how Mike Ross was charged with the same thing. Great Wall of China repairs. Although this wasn't something that was excavated, I'm not going to leave this one out of the list because it still messed up one of the most historical pieces of history in history of histories. In 2016, a section of the Great Wall of China in Suizhou County in Liaoning Province needed repairs. The part that needed some of those was the Xiaoheku stretch. It's about 700 years old, and it was beginning to crumble under erosion and natural things. Because what else from Ming Dynasty China is standing apart from this? Right, none. So the Chinese saw it as urgent to fix it immediately to preserve the only thing that's sturdy there.
And we are back to which item is it? During the time when the Great Wall of China was being repaired in 2016, they used this material to cover the wall so it won't fall like the Tower of Pisa. Is it A, limestone, B, stones, C, bricks, or D, mud? Which item is it?
I would choose A, limestone.
Are you sure? There are 4 choices on the board. Better to choose carefully, Hoopla.
Now that you questioned my decision, I'm now second-guessing myself. I will choose D, mud.
I'm sorry, Hoopla, but you chose the wrong answer. The correct answer is letter E, concrete. Better luck next time, and we hope you watch the next episode of Which Item Is It?
Sounds about right. They covered the wall with a layer of concrete. Lot of wrong things in here. They weren't monitored well, that's one. 2, no one hardly knew anything about how to preserve old stuff, so they just resorted to using sand and concrete. So modern. Something Trump would have used to build his own wall. And 3, they just didn't understand how important the Great Wall was supposed to be to them. Well, they got the new and improved wall now, just without the historical feats of it. Even the guard towers were either removed or badly modified. The People's Republic took their reactions to Weibo about this. Things like, "What is this? Are we just going to repair the wall like it's some sort of building today?" Sent by Confucius, 420, "Has anybody seen what they did to the wall? Disgusting." Sent by Lao Tzu, 69. 大家好，这是我第一次发微博. Sent by Dalai Lama Tung. Now, if you dig deeper in this situation, which you don't have to because I did for you, so you're welcome, it will show that the restoration violated the Great Wall Protection Ordinance. It's basically a set of rules made in 2006 to protect the wall from exactly this kind of problem. It is what it is. Eugene Dubois, a man of sheer awesomeness, sciences, and a teaspoon of holy crap. This man had Charles Darwin as his role model, the guy who thought that we came from apes and that we had to evolve because we won't be here if we didn't. That's natural selection. Without us being the alpha evolvers, I wouldn't be a stickman right now. It's just ooga booga. Not even ooga booga, we'd be dead. If we really did come from apes, why are there apes right now, you stupid weirdo? Next time do your research because I know more than you do. You're cringe. That's exactly what Eugene Dubois set his foot on finding. The missing link between apes and humans in Darwin's theory. So Eugene went to Southeast Asia in 1887 as a medical officer with the Dutch Indies Army, with the hopes that the tropical climate and biodiversity there were the perfect ingredients for evolution. He first found something in 1891 near the village of Trinil in Java, Indonesia. It was a skullcap. Yeah, damn! A skullcap! Darwin, be prepared to roll in your grave because I'm about to find something you didn't! The skullcap had this thick and low sloping forehead. The eyebrows were slanted out like a protruded mouth. It was different than the facial features of Homo sapiens sapiens or people of today, so it must mean something. Then a year after that, he found a femur 12 meters away from where he found the skullcap, so he thought that this came from the same person. Person? Wait, is it a person? How do we define a person in this case? Doesn't matter. He thought it came from the same individual. There we go. The femur had the same features as ours, so he thought he was getting closer. He named his discovery Erect Ape Man, or Pithecanthropus erectus, for long. He announced his findings to the world in 1894. He claimed it was the missing link between apes and humans. A lot were excited, a lot more were sus of it, especially how he connected the skullcap with the femur. I mean, the femur was 120 donuts away from the skullcap. This isn't the grenade scene from Hacksaw Ridge. There must have been no way these came from the same creature, as far as the smart people were concerned. They thought the femur came from a human, then the skullcap came from something older. Somehow they were right. There weren't any additional evidence of a fossil in that place, so it was hard to jump to conclusions that quick. If the people who suspected were women, then maybe concluding things was faster? Eugene was far from disheartened with the skeptics. In fact, he doubled down by publishing papers and giving lectures about it all across Europe. He was Beethoven-level deaf to other interpretations other than his. It's not really a matter of standing the ground at this point if there were no other evidences. It's just that he was stubborn enough to be applauded by some people. The suspicions on Eugene Dubois' theory didn't end there, though. It wouldn't be fun if it did. See? Back in his time, there was no actual accurate way to date fossils like the carbon dating we have now. It was not until the 1950s and 60s when these fossils were estimated to be between 700,000 to 1.49 million years old through potassium-argon dating. Also, the brain size of the skullcap that Dubois found was 940 cubic centimeters. That's how small Republicans think Democrats' brains are. Same goes for how Democrats see Republicans. It's really small compared to a modern man, but still bigger than apes. It can only mean one thing.
The Java man was older than he thought, but Eugene was so stubborn and that is what he fought.
More years went by and more studies were done. In the 1920s, fossils of a Homo erectus were found in Zhoukoudian, China. These fossils, especially the skullcap, were very similar to what Dubois found in Indonesia. But then again, Eugene couldn't give craps about it and insisted that his findings were different. 50 years after the discovery of the erect ape man, Gustav Heinrich Ralph von Königswald found a similar skull at Sangiran, Java. They called it Sangiran II. It had a brain size of 815 cubic centimeters. Other than the smaller brain size, it had more features than differences to the Java man fossils. So the Java man was later classified as a Homo erectus. Bad luck, Eugene. Nomal Pyramid. This pyramid has been around for more than 2,300 years in Belize. It's a part of the Mayan civilization, the same civilization that got us making an entire movie about the world ending in 2012. Turns out, it was their calendar all along. The pyramid was located in the Orange Walk district in the northern part of Belize, but its cultural importance to the country was the least of a local construction company called DMAR Construction's problems when it was hired to fix a road in the village of Douglas. Damn, this country has a lot of English-named places. DMAR is owned by Denny Grijalva, a politician in Belize. Now DMAR decided to use the pyramid's limestone blocks to be the road fill. Denny's company must have been as clueless as him about the law, because apart from irreversibly ruining the ruins, it's also illegal under Section 62 of Belize's National Institute of Culture and History Act. See? I do my research. Look, it literally says here that any person who willfully damages, destroys, or disturbs any ancient monument, or in any way marks or defaces any ancient monument, or willfully removes any antiquity from any ancient monument, or destroys any such antiquity commits of an offense. In short, you're messed up if you mess it up. Did the construction company care? They might have been just following orders for all I know, so they may have or may not have cared about it. Doesn't matter, it was still illegal. Rubble on the double, said the bulldozers and the backhoes when they were brought in to tear the pyramid down. Rubble, you better get back to Paw Patrol, you're not a part of this. By the time that the people found out about this monstrosity, only a little part of it remained. How little, you say? This little. The heck is that? A boulder? The villagers over at Douglas saw the heavy trucks on site, so they called authorities. The director of the Belize Institute of Archaeology at the time was the first to respond to it. Let's call him Dr. Jaime Awe. It was found out that DMAR Construction didn't get any permit to completely remove a part of history for progress. It was illegal, then it was illegal again. The construction company was definitely ignorant on what the pyramid symbolized. They thought, wow, what a nice old pyramid. Let's break it down to make the road. To which they did. Denny Grijalva and the company got charged with willfully damaging an ancient monument and fined 24,000 Belize dollars or 12,000 US dollars. It wasn't enough, not gonna lie. Ancient city of Ashur. In 1985, the Iraqi government led by Saddam Hussein wanted to build the Makul Dam. They wanted to make the dam in an effort to boost the economy. Makul would effectively fix the flow of the Tigris River, but it would mean that some land upstream would be underwater. It included the city of Ashur, the first capital of the Assyrian Empire. It used to be a major trading site with a ton of artifacts people can dig up and ruins they can study. Well, not anymore. In fact, Ashur has been excavated in the early 20th century. German archaeologists found about 16,000 clay tablets there from 1903 to 1913. The tablets were written using cuneiform and basically shows documentation of a lot of things in the old Assyrian times. And well, would you look at that? Even if the city was very important, historically and culturally, Makul Dam still proceeded. It's like they gave 2 glances and 0 thought. Oh wait, I guess that's what they did. Iraq was like, well, we had to make this because the people of Iraq need water. The agriculture needs it. And besides, now is the time for us to make Iraq great again. UNESCO and the Iraqi Ministry of Culture opposed this idea so much, saying that it's going to be a huge loss if the city were to be flooded. That's about the only thing they could do. Oppose it. Oh wait, They did hurried excavations before the city got flooded. About 100,000 people were relocated because, again, the Great Flooding was about to happen. Today, only the highest buildings in the city are visible, like the ziggurat. I guess we can call it Archaeologists now. Lefkandi Excavations. Lefkandi is a place in Euboea, Greece. It's been there since the early Bronze Age to the Iron Age, so you know that this place is old. When people of the olden days found Lefkandi, it was nice. This is a nice place. We can look for artifacts here. What is that? Is that a village? Yeah. Should we invade them so everything they have is ours too? Dude, you're a genius. That's a really great idea. But let's leave the invading and pillaging to the other people. We're here for the passion. What's up, villagers? Her. We're from somewhere. What village is this? Lefkandi. Her. How long have you been in here? Place looks old as hell. Something about 1,000 years. I need to go do something. I'll leave you now. All was well in terms of digging up the past, up until 1950. That year, the excavations done by the British School at Athens, led by Mervyn Popham and Hugh Sackett, were legit donkey crap. The focus of their excavations was the Xeropolis site. It was an area that had evidences of people living there from the Mycenaean period to the Dark Age of Europe. Not a lot of people knew a lot of things about medieval Greece during that time, making this an awesome discovery for the school. If only they discover something. If not, well then they just rummage through a pile of dirt. These people wanted to discover something fast that Niccolò Machiavelli would be proud of what they did. The archaeologists dug up fast, speed over care. The reason was because they wanted to get the bigger find more than the little ones in terms of size. Make it fast, nothing will last. That's what she said. But the same went in this case since they only wanted the bigger artifacts. The smaller ones like pottery, tools, normal house items from that time period were destroyed. After all, if they can find something big, destroying small ones along the way won't matter, right? End justifies means. Whoop! Found something. Oh man, just a pot. Wait! God damn it. It's just a tablet filled with every single possible documented thing in the history of the civilization that lived in this place. Not a monument. Goodbye. What these British pillagers did weren't really that surprising in their time period. The mid-20th century archaeology was just a giant battle of whoever finds the most important piece of historical artifact gets the spotlight for 2 hours until someone gets a more significant one. If that won't change the way people view historical artifacts, I don't know what in the world will. Thankfully, we may not learn from all of our mistakes. We at least get a lesson in some of them. When the late 20th century came, clap for progress. We actually started to excavate safely, accurately, and carefully. Wow! Who would have thought? Humans? Learning their lesson? That is the wildest shiz I've seen in a while. Again, the British School at Athens did an excavation in Lefkandi, but this time it was done by Evie Tulupa. She found a Heroon, a cult shrine to dedicate to Greek heroes. The Heroon was from about 950 BCE. It had 2 shaft graves, some imported pottery and jewelry. She found all these in 1980, and this is how you do archaeological excavations. Meticulously. Reminder to self when digging up things, stop blitzing the soil like some SS soldier or a dog. Herculanum Scrolls. When Mount Vesuvius gave a little pop in 79 AD, the town of Herculaneum of Italy was buried under a thick layer of volcanic thingies. Although some of you might not know where Herculaneum is, it's the modern-day Ercolano in Italy. It's literally a 20 to 25-minute drive from the more famous Vesuvified city of Pompeii. But compared to Pompeii, that was mainly buried in ash, Herculaneum was buried under a dense mixture of volcanic mud and rocks. So the city was contained in this solid cover. This mud-debris combination happened to have preserved the Villa of the Papyri. A farmer found this villa. The property is believed to be owned by Julius Caesar's father-in-law, Lucius Calpurnius Piso Caesoninus. Inside the villa, there was about 1,800 papyrus scrolls there. Well, a lot got carbonized. I mean, rock, paper, scissors, volcano beats paper. So, yeah. But surprisingly, the thing that was supposed to destroy it protected the scrolls. Oh my gosh. Is this the beginning of a love story with a cliché ending? Nah. These scrolls were found during the start era of modern archaeology. King Charles III of Spain asked archaeologists to excavate here in
1738.
First time that these scrolls were found via digging. While we can't blame the diggers, they still did it. They didn't have tools that archaeologists have today, so naturally, some papyri were destroyed. Besides, their idea of archaeology back then was all about treasure hunting, more than studying the past. So it didn't matter if there was no context in the scrolls. Mishandling was also something they did. When the first scrolls were brought to Napoli, they tried to unroll it. Just in a primitive method. For a primitive time, not gon' lie. You get a scroll, you get a sharp knife, you stab the paper, cut through the layers, and pray to whoever you can pray to that the contents of the scroll are still there. The guys didn't pray enough. The papyri had text written in ink. If the ink dries up, gets buried in time, it becomes asswipe if handled without care. Impatient dudes. Then the 1750s came. There's this dude who is a museum curator in Portici. Well, I'm not expecting too much. It's 1750. What's he gonna do? Wet the scrolls, then gently unroll them? Well, that's what he's doing right now. Oh my goodness. You see this? This is also not safe. The moisture, people. It'd tear the scroll. See? Even worse. It's gone. Don't do that. And don't stab the scroll like it's Julius Caesar, too. Many of the scrolls were decimated to nothing or to pieces when people of the past tried to unroll it with the ways they know. Good thing that many scrolls were saved for the 20th and 21st century archaeologists to study. In 2015, they started to virtually unroll the scrolls by using X-ray phase contract tomography. X-ray for short. This method was done by Dr. Brent Seals at the University of Kentucky. Little by little, we got to know what each of these scrolls said. And to make things a little bit faster, the Vesuvius Challenge was launched in 2023. It's the race of whoever can recover, translate, and read 4 passages of 140 characters from a Herculanum scroll. The first word that was discovered was the word porphyros, meaning purple. If you don't believe me, here. Oh, you want another one? Here. I'm telling you, it's purple. But the $700,000 prize was won by a team of 3 people who individually found the first word on their own. It's Yusef Nader, Luke Ferrator, and Julian Schilliger. What a time to be alive. When I die, hopefully I get excavated and not turned to oil.